What up, what up, what up, Dolphin fans? Doing things a little bit different today because of work. I had to pre-record the video, but still going to release at 10 a.m. Eastern time so you can get your full dose of the Finn Posse podcast. I know you're fiending for it. I know you need it in your life. So I pre-recorded the video. I think this is what we're going to do from now on when work comes in the way of me being able to be here live. I am super sad that I'm not going to have the opportunity to chat with you guys this morning, but leave comments. I will read them. I appreciate you all. I love you all. Today, we're going to talk about day 7 of training camp, news and notes from that. Plus, the one game that's going to tell us everything we need to know about the 2025 Miami Dolphins. Stay tuned. And the show will begin in un momento.
Miami has the Dolphins, the greatest football team. We take the ball from goal to goal like no one's ever seen. We're in the air.
What up, Finn fans? Back for another episode of the Finn Posse podcast. I am your host, Big C, and this is brought to you by Game Changers Media. How is everyone doing today? We here talking about day 7 of training camp and a lot of news and notes to talk about, a lot of things to talk about. Obviously, yesterday we got the news of Kader Kohou going down and being out for the season with a partially torn Achilles. That's devastating to this team. That is devastating to this football team. A position that we're so lean at in the first place. To go and lose probably the top corner we have on the team is devastating. It really is devastating. But it is what it is. Next man up. Hopefully Chris Greer's not done making moves. We'll talk about who I think the starters on this team are. If the season started today, we'll talk about who I think would probably get the nod. But hopefully Chris Greer's not done. Defensive backs are dropping like flies. And it's definitely a horrible thing. But there's positive notes coming out of day 7 of camp also. So let's get into it. Positive notes coming out of day 7. The pads are on for the second day this training camp. And the offensive line, one of the positional groups that I thought was one of the weaknesses of this team, and it has been for years, could end up being a positive for this football team. Could end up being a positive. At left tackle, you got Patrick Paul. Left guard, it looks like it's going to be Jonah Savinaya. Jonah Savinaya. 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 Jonah Savinaya. He's looked pretty good in camp so far. At center, you know, you got Bruin, Aaron Brewer, right? Aaron Brewer is right. I'm having a brain fart. Aaron Brewer, right guard, James Daniels, and right tackle, Austin Jackson. Right. By all accounts, Jonas Savanaya has looked good. He's looked good. Hopefully, he continues to progress. James Daniels has been he's been phenomenal. He's been phenomenal. He was cleared for full participation. He's full jets ahead, ready to go. He's been very impressive. Matter of fact, today in today's practice, he had Jalen Phillips in the dirt. Put him right in the dirt. Now, usually he's not going to face a pass rusher of Jalen Phillips caliber because Jalen Phillips isn't going to rush from the inside very often. Most pass rushers go around the edge. Yeah, you run certain blitz packages and stomp packages where you might get lined up against one of the elite ends in this league, but typically he's not going to face a pass rusher of Jalen Phillips' ability. And for him to be able to put him in the dirt and to be able to move so well on that leg after not even a year of missing time is phenomenal news for the Miami Dolphins. This guy, before getting hurt last year, was the top-rated guard in all of football. So James Daniels, as long as he can remain healthy, he's going to be a massive upgrade for the Miami Dolphins over Robert Jones and Liam Eichenberg. Massive upgrade. We just touched on Jonah. Jonah's looking good, continues to improve. A lot of people are saying a lot of good things about Jonah. But let's talk about our left tackle, Patrick Paul. Patrick Paul has been nothing but dominant since the Pats have come on. He's been very, very impressive so far in training camp. He's just been phenomenal. Let me check my notes here. His technique is good. His footwork is good. He's stonewalling players like Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb. Just people, he gets his hands on you and he just engulfs you. His massive frame, you can't run through him. He's just too big. His massive frame just engulfs you and eats you up. He has been dominant. And he's got the crazy face mask looking like Bane from Batman. You know, an intimidating figure. The guy is huge. The guy is a monster. And the fact that, you know, we had one of the best left tackles in all of football when healthy in Teron Armstead, to have Patrick Paul be performing this well in his first training camp as a starter, bro, that's good news for us. That's good news for the Miami Dolphins' future. This offensive line, if Aaron Brewer can play lights out like he did last year, and obviously Aaron Brewer has missed camp so far with an injury, but if Aaron Brewer can come back, James Daniels can be dominant like he was last year up until the injury. Patrick Paul's dominance. And if Austin Jackson can just play Austin Jackson football, not great, but not terrible. This Miami Dolphins offensive line, dare I say, could be a top 12 to 10 unit in this league. And you know what that does for this offense? You know what it does for this offense? If you can be a top tier offensive line, you're going to open up running lanes. you're gonna be able to run the ball efficiently, which is gonna open up the pass. And that's when this Miami Dolphins team is dangerous. Dangerous, so dangerous. That's when this team is dangerous. Because then you have them safeties creeping up, trying to help with the run, trying to help stop the run. Because we got a game breaker in the backfield in Devon Achane. We got a game breaker in the backfield. Shoot, even Jalen Wright is a game breaker. He's got game breaking speed. You're going to have them safeties creeping up, and when them safeties start creeping up and they're not back there to help, that's when Tyreek and Jalen Waddle can take advantage, and their speed becomes devastating to teams. The speed overwhelms teams. That's a scary thought, folks. That's a scary thought. If this offensive line can be a top 10 unit, a top 12 unit, this offense, without a shadow of a doubt, in my mind, will definitely be a top 5 unit in the NFL. Will be a top 5 unit. Other standouts from camp, Jalen Waddle. Jalen Waddle has looked like a true number one. Given more opportunities with the situation with Tyreek dealing with rehabbing his wrist and the whole offseason, gave Jalen Waddle and Tua more of an opportunity to be the main guy. Gave him the opportunity to be the main guy, and he's doing phenomenally. Jalen Waddle has been dominant. That's big news. If Jalen Waddle can, I've always said that Jalen Waddle's not a number one. He's a number two. He's a high-end number two, but he's a number two. If Jalen Waddle can turn the corner and fix the issues that he has, Jalen Waddle most certainly can be a number one. And, I'm not saying Jalen Waddle can't be a number one on a lot of teams in the NFL. So I guess technically that makes him a number one. We can go back and forth. So I guess that technically makes Jalen Waddle a number one, but on this team, he wasn't the number one. If Jalen Waddle can steal those reins from Tyreek Hill, now is Jalen Waddle more talented than Tyreek Hill? No. But obviously, there's a situation between Tyreek and Tua. If Jalen becomes Tua's favorite target, if he gets them first looks, Jalen Waddle could be in for a big year, folks. Another player that's looked really impressive since the pads have come on is Alexander Mattison, our third, fourth string running back. He just looks different with the pads on. He just looks different. Before the pads came on, he wasn't hitting the hole that hard. He's some players are just gamers. You know what I mean? Some players can't get up for the practices, you know what I mean? This is more game-like with the pads around. People are getting hit. You're breaking tackles. You know what I mean? Like, you're hitting people. Some people just aren't practice people. You know what I mean? And I'm hoping, God, that Cam Smith and those guys, hopefully Cam Smith gets an opportunity, and maybe he's just a terrible practicer, and, he gets some game action. And I'm sure there's a good chance that he gets an opportunity at some point this season. Hopefully Cam Smith can just show out. But Alexander Mattison is making a case for himself to make this football team. Now, I don't know if the Miami Dolphins can keep 4 running backs on the active 53. I think that's a stretch. Will he be poached off the practice squad if they were to put him on the practice squad? There's a good chance of that. Because Madison at one point in time was a top-level backup running back. When he was backing up Dalvin Cook in Minnesota, I used to pick up Alexander Mattison on my fantasy in case Delvin went down. because he performed so well when they put the rock in his hands. Other players performing extraordinary. Kenneth Grant had a very good day in practice today. Jordan Brooks, Willie Gay Jr. continues to get. He just continues to impress. He continues to be around the ball. He is a ball of energy. He brings life to this defense. Willie Gay will be a starter by the time the season starts. Terrell Dotson's going to have to go to a backup role because Willie Gay Jr. is coming for that spot. Jordan Brooks and Willie Gay Jr. are going to be your starting inside linebackers. Mark my words. Without question. Without question. And Dotson's still a key piece here. Dotson's still a key piece here and is a very important piece. But I like our linebacker unit. They've all performed really well. KJ Britt has been really good at stopping the run. This team has been impressive so far in training camp. Now, I think the defense has definitely gotten the better of the offense so far in training camp. You know, obviously, I think the edge goes to the defense when the pads are not on. So we're going to learn more as the days go by and more padded practices take place. But the defense is definitely ahead in my opinion. And the cornerback room, we've had 3 major injuries so far this offseason already. We had Artie Burns out for the year. Kader Kohu out for the year now. Ashton Davis avoiding an Achilles tear, but it's probably not going to be back anytime soon. We can't keep going. We can't keep going in that direction. The weakest areas of the team are cornerback and depth upon the offensive line. Obviously, we need 2 boundary corners to start, nickel corner, and 2 safeties. That's 5 spots, right? So Minka's taking one of the safety spots. Mike Hilton's going to take that nickel back. So that you need a strong safety and you need 2 boundary corners. Strong safety, I'm hoping that Ifeanyi Malafano gets back here soon. I hope he gets back soon so he can start practicing with his team. I think he would definitely take that other safety spot. If it's not him, look to the Miami Dolphins to add a player. Look for the Miami Dolphins to maybe add someone via free agency. Justin Simmons is still available. Keep a lookout for that. Dante Trader Jr., the rookie, he's a possibility. But the best case scenario is if Ifeanyi can get back. And then you got your 2 boundaries. If you were starting the season today, I'd say you probably got to say that so far in camp, what I'm hearing from fans that have been to practices, from some of the beat writers, I'd have to go with Kendall Sheffield or Sherfield. I don't know how you pronounce it. Kendall Sheffield or Sherfield, and Storm Duck. Storm Duck would be your 2 boundary corners right now. Jack Jones would be your 3rd guy. Storm Duck looks the position. He had a good rookie year last year. He's improved this year. He doesn't have any turnovers, but he's getting his hands on the ball. He's got a bunch of pass breakups. He's been good. He's been good. Not great, but good. Kendall's been the same. Getting his hands on balls. Doing nice things, but again, Should he be a starter for this team? Probably not. Probably not. That's why I think we need to add another starting caliber corner with Cater going down. Because Cater was a huge loss for us, folks. Cater was the top corner on this football team. And I know that Cater has been mostly a nickel back in his career, but he wasn't going to play the nickel. Mike Hilton was playing that nickel. They didn't bring Mike Hilton in to be a backup to Cater Kohu at the nickel position. That's not what it was. Cater was going outside. Let's talk about our quarterback, Tua Tagovailoa. Listen, 7 days of training camp, not one interception. You can count the amount of incompletions on two hands. 7 days, less than 10 incompletions, no interceptions. Tua Tagovailoa is efficient and consistent. If there's two things that Tua Tagovailoa is, efficient and consistent in training camp, he's putting the ball where it needs to be. He's been very impressive. The guy's hard on himself more than anything else. You know, even though you can count how many incompletions he's had in 7 days of training camp, even though he hasn't thrown not one pick, he's still criticizing himself, saying, you know, I go into practice and every day, and there's 2 or 3 things that I want to achieve in myself. There's 2 or 3 things that I want to make sure I get done every practice. And he said, today, I only achieved one of those things. So today was a failure for me. Now, a lot of players would go out there and be like, I had 1 incompletion, no interceptions, and blah, blah touchdowns. I had a good day. Or you let the media tell you how great you were. Not Tua. Tua's out there criticizing himself, trying to get himself better. Now, I mean, people can say what they want about Tua, and some of the stuff is deserved, like I said. But the kid is fighting to get better. He's trying to get better. He's trying to be a better leader for this football team. So I gotta take my hat off to the kid. I gotta take my hat off to the guy. You know what I mean? Hopefully Tua can put it all together this season and get over the hump when it comes to good teams, when it comes to cold weather, whatever narrative there is about Tua Tagovailoa. Hopefully he can get over it. Now, the biggest narrative is that Tua can't stay healthy. You know, Tua can play safer, obviously. Tua can play safer. But as far as injuries concerned, I mean, he is who he is. His body is what it is. So there's always going to be that potential that Tua's going to miss time. And it's a terrible thing. It really is a terrible thing. But here's to a season that hopefully sees Tua stay healthy and sees Tua put an end to some of these narratives. Another player that's been very a positive for this football team, and let's give him a shout out, is our third string center, Andrew Myers. Andrew Myers is a third string player who's had to play this whole offseason because our starting center has been down. And it's not like the guy's getting pushed into the backfield or messing up snaps, or the kid is holding his own. The guy's doing a good job. He's definitely earned his spot on this 53-man roster. He's probably our only decent backup offensive lineman, to be real. I mean, you got Liam Eichenberg, who, oh man, when Liam Eichenberg is your best backup option for most of the offensive line, you know you got some issues. The rest of this offensive the rest of the replacements on the offensive line have not looked good. They've not looked good. And if we suffer any type of injury, which, listen, you suffer injuries upon the offensive line unless you're the Buffalo Bills, we're gonna be in trouble. So Chris Greer's got to go out and do something. He's got to find some. You got to realize that these guys are not the answer, and you got to go find someone that can fill in and do a decent job if one of our guys goes down. If we don't do that, we're just asking for trouble. We're just asking for trouble. We got the cap space now that Minka's contract got redone. Redo something with Zach Sealer, open up some more cap space, and go get the backup players that we need. Go find us a starting corner. Go find us a couple offensive linemen that are good players, not just bodies, not just camp bodies, camp bodies. Find us some decent players. Find us some decent players. Let me say the most impressive players through camp so far, through 7 days of camp. I'm going to say James Daniels. James Daniels, one of the most impressive players in camp so far to me. Patrick Paul, like I said, stonewalling dudes. Footwork looks great. Mechanics look great. Like I said, he's just eating up defenders. And he's not going against slouches, folks. He's going against Bradley Chubb, Jalen Phillips, Chop Robinson. He's not going against chumps. He's going against the big boys. Now, are these guys? I mean, none of them are Myles Garrett or, you know what I mean, but they're still above average end players that he's dominating. He's dominating. There's no other word to use but dominating. Chop Robinson. Chop Robinson's been very impressive. Tua Tagovailoa has been very impressive. Jalen Waddle, very impressive. And Willie Gay Jr. Those are my top performers in camp so far. Surprise players, I've been pleasantly surprised with Quinn Ewers. I said that in my video yesterday. Quinn Ewers has been impressive as a rookie. He's been impressive as a rookie. He hasn't been too good, but he's been very good. I'm super excited about his growth in just his rookie year. Hopefully he can continue to get better, and hopefully maybe one day he's the future starter of the Miami Dolphins. And that's a long shot, folks. That's a long shot. I'm not saying he's gonna be. I'm saying that'd be nice, right? It'd be nice if Quinn Ewers in a year or two he's turned into the player that he was initially supposed to be coming out of college. Quinn Ewers was supposed to be a top 10 quarterback coming out of college. I mean, if you look back at all even the NCAA football game, Quinn Ewers is on the cover with his jersey in the back. You know what I mean? Like, Quinn Ewers was one of those names that was supposed to be a top NFL prospect. Now, for whatever reasons, inconsistency, injuries, whatever have you, at the University of Texas, he ended up falling to the 7th round. But the potential's there in that kid. You got Zach Wilson, who had a great day of practice today. If Zach Wilson can tap into the potential that made him a number 2 overall pick, I just want to see continued growth. But Quinn Ewers has been a pleasant surprise. Another player that's been a real pleasant surprise and maybe is making a case of making the 53-man roster is Theo Wise Jr., wide receiver. He's got some special connection with Quinn Ewers, but the guy's making plays. He's making plays. Yeah, he's practicing against the threes too. He's going to have to come and make plays against the big boys. He's going to have to get an opportunity to make plays against starting caliber players. But so far in camp, Theo Wise Jr. is doing his damn thing. He's doing his damn thing. He's making catches. He's making people miss. He's doing what he's supposed to do. And so far, he's been Quinn Ewers' favorite target. Another surprising player who's making a case for making the 53-man roster is defensive tackle Matt Dickerson. This guy's going to be a tough decision. He's played really, really well, but we're so deep at defensive tackle with, Kenneth Grant, Zach Sealer, Zeke Biggers, Jordan Phillips. You can only keep so many defensive tackles, but Matt Dickerson's been making plays in camp, and he's making a case to make the 53-man roster. He's played really, really well. Grayson Murphy, he's played really well. He was a rookie last year, hurt his knee, but he's been back and he's been making flashy plays. He's been making big plays in camp. So he's another guy that is he going to be able to get on this 53-man roster? There's going to be a lot of tough decisions when it comes cut time. But Grayson Murphy has really looked good. The cornerback room, like we had talked about with the injuries and, the one positive about the cornerback room is they're not getting killed in practice, but they're also not standing out. You know what I mean? They're not getting killed in practice, but they're not standing out. There's no flashy plays. They're not getting turnovers. And we're going to need turnovers to win football games. That was a big issue last year with this Miami Dolphins defense, is that, we ended up being a top 10 unit. And a lot of people couldn't believe we were a top 10 unit because we lacked sacks, and we lacked the high turnover number. So even though we were a top 10 unit, we struggled to get sacks and we struggled to get turnovers. It'd be nice if we could get a playmaker, and Jack Jones is a playmaking corner. He can get his hands on the ball, and I think he's got 7 career interceptions for touchdowns, which is pretty impressive. But Minkah Fitzpatrick's a playmaking safety. If we can get a playmaking corner that can create some turnovers, that'd be really nice. But they haven't been getting killed, which is a positive, but they're also not making the flashy play. They're not standing out. So, that's slightly concerning. But it's still early in camp. We still got some time left. Oh. So that's camp so far. That's camp. The other subject I want to touch on is, I said, the one game that will tell us all we need to know about the Miami Dolphins. The one game we'll play this year that will tell us all we need to know about this Miami Dolphins. Listen, it's week 3 in Buffalo. It's week 3 in Buffalo. It's Thursday night football against the division rivals, against one of the Super Bowl favorites, a team that's favored in every game this season. We go into their house, a team that has had our number, that has been our daddy. Josh Allen's been our daddy. We go in there on Thursday night football, week 3. And this is it, folks. This is the game that will tell us all we need to know. If we go into Buffalo and we do the same exact thing, if we look like the same exact team that we've seen for the last 3, 4, 5 years, you might as well just trade everybody at the deadline. If we don't go in there and beat the Buffalo Bills, and not just compete, beat. Because lots of games that we play against top teams, we don't lose by much. Maybe a touchdown, maybe 10 points, sometimes a field goal. No, that's not good enough. That's not good enough this time. That is not good enough this time. If we go into Buffalo and lose week 3, wash your hands with this season. If we go in there and are the same poor excuse Miami Dolphins, where we're turning the ball over, we're dropping passes, we're just letting them run down our throats, Josh Allen looking like a god, you might as well wipe your hands of this season and just move on. Just move on, because the season's not going to get any better. Yeah, we can lose the Buffalo and still have a winning record by time midseason comes. But by time the midseason comes and we hit that stretch of games, we're going to get embarrassed. If we're the same Miami Dolphins, we're going to get embarrassed. Then 3 straight weeks against Baltimore, Buffalo, and Washington. And I have no interest in seeing that. So to me, week 3 is going to be put up or shut up. It's going to tell us what we need to know. If we can go into Orchard Park and beat the Buffalo Bills week 3, you know what that does for Tua's confidence? You know what it does for this team's confidence? If we start out 3-0 and we beat Buffalo on prime time, you know what it does for this team's confidence? Week 3 is also the game that's going to let us know if we're going to even have a chance to win the division. Without a win week 3, there's no shot of us winning the division. There's no shot of us hosting a playoff game, which means there's no shot of us ending the 25-year drought that the Miami Dolphins are in without a playoff win. Week 3 is everything, folks. Week 3 is everything, in my opinion. And you can disagree. That's just my opinion. If we don't show up against Buffalo and beat the Buffalo Bills week 3, and I'll be in the building. And we need to pull it out, folks. We need to pull it out. We need the rest of the world. This is primetime football. The whole world's going to be watching. We need the rest of the world to be sitting there on their couches watching Tua, to Tyreek, to Waddle, being like, damn! Yeah, that's what we need the rest of the world to be like. Damn, did you see Tua? Damn, did you see that defense? Damn, did you see Chop Robinson? Damn! You know what I mean? We need the Buffalo Bills fans to be. We need to leave them shocked. I need to be getting jumped leaving Hallmark Stadium. If they're not jumping me for wearing my Dolphins gear, this season's a waste of time. But that's my opinion, folks. That's what I got. Football's back for real tonight, when you're watching this video tonight. Thursday night football, Hall of Fame game. You got the Chargers and the Lions, 8 p.m. Eastern. Football's back on TV. Watch it. Should be a pretty good game. You know, most of the starters ain't gonna play. But shit, folks, football's back. It's a beautiful thing. You're gonna be watching real football tonight. Real football. You're gonna be watching real football tonight. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing, baby. All right, folks, I'm going to get out of here. I love you. I appreciate you all. You know what it is. Oh, I had a couple pictures from camp. Let me share with you. Nothing special, just a couple flicks. Ethan Bonner looking like he about to intercept one. Hopefully Ethan Bonner can make something happen and maybe he steals one of those starting corner jobs. You know what I mean? Yeah, Malik Washington catching a pass. He should be our number 3 guy this year. And then you got your boy Jalen Waddle with the orange jersey. Jalen Waddle, like I said, been performing really well in camp. Hopefully he can be what he was drafted to be, a number 1 wide receiver. But yeah. All right, folks, I'll catch you Friday. I appreciate you all. Sorry I couldn't have been live with you tonight. You know, work things happen. But I thought I'd get this video out for you. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, comment, share. Do all them great things to help us with the algorithm, help us grow. We're less than 200 away from 1,000. I can't believe that I have 800 subscribers. It's amazing. You guys are all amazing. You guys are all beautiful. Yeah, you guys are great. Obviously, you know that YouTube has stopped me from getting monetized so far. So any donations so I can hopefully get the training camp or a game down in South Florida with you lovely folks. If you could donate to the Cash App, that'd be great. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, and I'll see y'all soon. You know what it is. Fins up though, baby. Peace.